Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing my girlfriend's mother's hair. Mother's Day is right around the corner, so we are giving her a little refresh. So previously we have taken her from a partial highlight to an all over bleaching, and we did that for a couple months, and then, you know, she gets bored, so we switched things up, which is super fun because it keeps it fresh and exciting. So then we took her back to a dimensional blonde. We threw some lowlights and highlights in at the same time, and we turned her more of a blondie color. It was super pretty. And so now her roots are grown out, so we are going to go in today and do another partial highlight to get rid of her roots, but still keep some dimension. And I want to take you guys along with me on how I do it. Again, I am not saying that how I highlight is the only way to highlight. Everybody has their own way of doing stuff. I have my way, and you know, I just wanted to share this with you guys, and hopefully it helps. So if you're interested, then just keep watching. So before we get started, I'm going to show you what I use. So I have my Fermar pop-up foils set out. These are just their plain silver ones. I am like out of my colorful ones, and they still have not come in the mail. And then a foiling comb. And then I'm going to start off with an ounce of lightener and use 20 volume with Olaplex. And then we will get started. So for the partings of the hair, I'm doing a partial highlight. So in the back, I split up the top portion of her hair into 3 parts. I put the sides in 2 smaller parts and the top in a different smaller part. And then in the front, I just split it in 2 because it's much easier to go about the front in 2 bigger sections than kind of breaking them up in 3 different ones. So this is what we are starting with. This is her before color. This is when we added a lot of dimension and took her blondie. And now I am starting her highlights. I did already do a previous section, so now I am at the top, and I take a small slice, and then from that slice, I will grab it and I will kind of hold it tight. And then I will take my comb and do tiny little U-like motions to get a even smaller slice from that top. Instead of going in and weaving, and then I will place my foil down. So here I do flatten it out against the head just because these are not my favorite foils, so sometimes they kind of bump up. So I do like to take that extra caution and make sure that it is perfectly flat. I am going over her previous lightened hair because there are low lights, and we are trying to brighten her up and do as much blonding in this partial highlight as we can. I feel very comfortable going over this because she does have Olaplex in her lightener, and because I have done her hair before, so I know what's on it and how it can take lightener and how everything works together. So yeah, I feel very comfortable doing this. If you don't feel comfortable going over it, then you can just go to the root. This is just my personal preference and the desired look that I'm going for. So I do, in these sections, kind of go back to back to back all the way up. So here again, I am taking another slice, and then I am doing that U-like motion. Well, right here actually I am taking out a piece of hair to make sure that the line is straight. But now I am going in and doing that U-like motion. It's just kind of almost like your finger or hand is vibrating to get that tiny little weave. This really gives such a natural sun-kissed highlighted look. It is my favorite. It does take a little bit longer to do because yes, you are doing a lot more work, but I am obsessed with blonding and making it look natural or just the best it can be, and I am obsessed with doing this technique. So here, after I go over the ends and get that all saturated, I do evenly coat everything. I'm not doing like too much over her mids to ends just because I have lightened them before, so a little bit will go a long way. But here I am feathering up right to the top, and I am not dipping my bowl or my brush back into my bowl for any extra lightener. Whatever is left on my brush is what I'm using to do that little feathering up motion. So don't have a lot of product on your brush, because that's how you will get bleed marks, or how you will accidentally go outside of the foil and again cause bleed marks or tiger stripes or anything that you would like to call it. So again, I'm just doing that small slice back to back, and then after I take that small slice, then I am doing the U-like motion in order to get the hair that I am going for to highlight. So one of my favorite ways to fold my foils is actually take the top, fold it over my comb, and then use my comb as I'm pulling out to press down. And then again, I do go over it again with my finger, because these silver foils are not my favorite. So I just like to ensure that it is super flat and right to the head. That way all of my baby lights are coming out as baby lights, and they are super close to the root without this actually being a on the scalp lightening process. And then after I feather up here and ensure that everything is coated and I am really getting, again, close to the root without bleeding or excess product leaving the foil, I do also pull the corners tight to also get the outside corners of the hair, which is very important because a lot of people do miss that. And then I will fold it over once and then fold it over twice, and then I will kind of leave it like this until I am done with the entire section. Then I will go over and fold up all the corners together in order to move on to the next section. So here I am just doing that same technique, and then I am going to do this all the way up to the head. And then after I am done with this section, I will move on to the next. So right here, I am at the very top of her head, and this section is much smaller than all the other sections, and honestly, it is kind of a little off-centered, which is perfectly fine, but I definitely make sure that I take the time to take out this section and do a baby highlight in this, because it is right on the top of her head. So if you do leave that out, you are going to see those roots, and it's not going to look like a natural sun-kissed baby light look that you're going for. And when it grows out, you will really see that spot that you missed. So now I am moving on to the front, and for the beginning, how I start this off is I will do pretty much, it's still the baby light technique, but they're much thinner slices of hair because they are right around her face frame, and I do like to make those a little brighter. So I will do about 3 of these diagonal back to back like I am here. Here is the second one. Again, very thin, making sure that I am doing maximum brightness right around her face because she, again, does wear her hair up a lot in a ponytail, so you really want to make sure that if it is a guest that does wear their hair up a lot, or maybe wears headbands or anything that where their hair would be pushed back, you do see a lot of brightness because that is what they will be seeing the most. And that is the first thing that when it starts to grow out that they will notice. And also those baby hairs around the face do grow out a lot slower than say like the top part of your part or other parts of your hair. So when your roots are growing out, it's a lot better to make sure that those are brighter because it can almost act as like a cover for your new roots growing out. So I really do encourage taking the time to make sure that you are highlighting over those baby hairs and that you're doing it in the right way for their face shape. So now I am actually starting and doing my first straight across. So I will alternate with her head shape. She does have a lot of spots here and there that don't really grow hair, so like right here I will do 2 straight across and then 2 to 3 diagonal until they meet up and match. Usually I will do about 2 diagonal and then 2 straight across, but with her I kind of have to get a little bit creative here and make sure that I am still mixing and matching the way that I'm doing it, but also at the same time that I am making sure that it fits how her hairline is. So again, this does come with time. It's not something that you 100% know right off the bat doing hair, but the more you do it, the easier it gets, and then the more you are able to kind of customize it for every client that sits in your chair. It is really great after you are to the point where you can kind of mix up your own technique for every client because you are still getting that same gorgeous outcome, but it is a little different for everyone. So now I am still going to do this technique all the way to the top of her head. When I get to maybe about 3 to 4 slices away right from the top, I will just do straight across. So here I am doing my 2 diagonal and then I will go back to 2 across. But right at the top, I do want to make sure that I am getting the most coverage when her hair is laying down, which is why I will do the straight across versus the diagonal. So now I am mixing up her toner. So I use 10N, 10GI, and 9P. And then for her root toner, I do 8N and 8NA. These are my favorite toners to do a very bright blonde that isn't too ashy, but isn't too yellow either. So before I go in with any toner at all, I will pre-tone with purple shampoo. So after I rinse out the highlights, I make sure that I do a clarifying shampoo to make sure that all of the lightener is off the hair. And then I will go in with the purple shampoo and really, really work it in there and make sure that, you know, I use it enough to really coat everything. So now I am going to go in with that root tap, and I'm really just slightly tapping the roots of her hair because her natural color is very dark, that when it grows out, this kind of helps it blend a little more, along with the Babylight technique. So now after I do the entire part, I will split it down the middle and then lightly tap over it again. And now I'm just going in with her mid to end toner to really brighten that up and get that gorgeous look that we're going for. So then after toner, I will wash with number 4, condition with number 5, and then do a treatment of number 2. I really do love to do this after all of my blonding sessions because I really do think it makes a big difference. And here is the after. I am absolutely obsessed with how this came out. We got her really, really bright, and she still has previous dimension in there. So I am really, really pleased with how this came out. She really loved it. And, you know, from now on, it'll just be maintenance. And I think that we have found the perfect look for her. So I am very happy with it. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. And thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you in the next one.